everybody. Get the YouTube comments up this time so I can make sure I watch it. Okay. Morning, guys. Thanks for joining. Let's see what happens now that the news
All that build up and we got nothing.
You got nothing. I know. It was a pretty good swing, actually. It was better than the last one. I think we remember the last one. I think it was that one. Maybe it was the interest rate thing, but it was a big old build up and it like moved 40 points. So this one at least we got a pretty good swing on there. I want to change the color of these. I'm gonna put white just because I want to know why I put those there. I don't want to confuse them with Neo stuff. Okay.
I mean, I don't really think the numbers are real anyway, in all reality.
Is that because we've always had these massive news events that they do all these things and then a year later they go, guys, we apologize, but we were off on our jobs report by 800,000 jobs for the year. Our bad.
Oh, so close.
You know, it impacts the entire market. But, you know, our bad. Don't you wish like you could do that back to the government when you get that letter from the IRS and they say you were wrong, you owe all this money, and it's like, oh, can I just like give you a my bad? Like, I mean, I know it was off.
Sorry, I was just off by a few decimals, but it's okay.
My bad. I don't need to pay you. I could just apologize.
Yeah, no, I'll just say sorry, and then we'll forget about it. Move on.
Next news cycle. Move on. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, I love with the news of it this type of discussion, but that always, again, my logical mind of things, it blows my mind when anybody who's ever been really in debt or filed bankruptcy or any of those kind of things, isn't it wild that the government has to teach you how to manage your finances when the government's response to finances is we've spent all our money, let's just make it more. I mean, can you imagine if your lifestyle was, oof, my credit card maxed? Okay, well, I'll go apply for another one.
I'm $34 trillion
Yeah,
in debt.
I know. But I'm going to teach people how to not be in debt.
And better yet, I don't have to pay for it. You need to pay for it. I need to get more money from you.
Yeah.
For my new credit card.
I just...
Yeah, why can't we create a pyramid scheme?
Yeah, or you get the whole, you know, we had to spend our hundreds of thousands of dollars on our armored Cadillac Escalades, you know, for just travel purposes, of course. I mean, we had to use that private jet to... we could talk about that forever. Yeah.
Sure, we had insider stock checks, though.
Of course. No, that never happens. Like, come on.
That's illegal.
Clearly, nobody knows where the market's going, unless you're a politician.
Pillow talk's not illegal, but insider trading.
Yeah.
Rules for thee and not for me.
Yeah. Look.
Hey, that was their significant others making those bets, not the actual congressmen's.
Yeah,
like
that's where we watch enough movies when they do the whole like, I can't tell you that, but I'm gonna go use the bathroom, and if you happen to look at my computer,
that's Better Call Saul.
can't stop you. Yeah, right. Yeah. Morning, guys. Just waiting for people on TikTok to kind of pile in. Those that are joining, we usually get started about 9:15, so we're just kind of jabbing around here. News came out as projected, so we'll see. We'll see where we go. We marked the high and the low of the news. Typically, we revisit the high and the low of the news at some point in the day, but doesn't have to if it breaks certain things. And we're in a critical point where if we go a little bit higher and we break above here, that kind of 30,077 area, it's going to be pretty freaking bullish if we can get above that. I'll go deeper here in a couple minutes when more get in, but anything that pushes up into this range, just be really careful being long into here. So the only thing that might give me the old cojones to push it and hold it through that would be if Neo tells me it's going through there, because his targets have been pretty on point. So the institutional context that he gets, guys, is it's based on where it locks, because it's heavily derived from options, and so obviously when the market closes, those orders are there, and then when the markets reopen, they adjust the orders, and so we'll be able to see where they adjust. And so because most of the institutional context that we had at close yesterday was below us pretty heavily, all the way to like 29.2, I think. It's not going to play a lot of weight in his decision, I think, for our market open play. The best, as I study Neo and his market opens, if you interpret it correctly, which I do my best to help you guys do, he has not been wrong in like 8 weeks, 9 weeks now, or something like that. And but the best ones that he does is when the institutional context is near us. So if we have like a gamma wall area of here, and let's say we have one there, and he tells you it's going to sweep here before dumping to there, when those are institutional levels, it's pretty freaking accurate. And that's a little bit, I think, of the separation with why sometimes it doesn't do both moves. So while we're kind of waiting here for a minute, then I'll do the TA. Keep in mind, guys, the interpretation of Neo's call. First off, we didn't build him with the intent of thinking, hey, this guy's about to call U.S. market open move damn near to a T every day. That's just something we stumbled upon. I was just, his logic is he sees liquidity, he knows how to kind of move that needle, and so we kind of had one day where it was fun. It's like, hey, where would you send the price to wreck the most retail? And it was just mind-blowing that it worked. And so we were like, well, shit, let's do this tomorrow. And that was about 8 weeks ago. We did that. We started that. And he's called it pretty much every day. Now, the subjectiveness of it is when we go into open and we do that where would you send price to wreck the most retail? Keep in mind, guys, he's going to give you an upper and he's going to give you a lower. Mostly every time. There's only been a handful of times where he was just like, we're going to sweep this low, and if we can't reclaim it, we're going to fall to the floor. And it did. It was pretty wild. Now, to clarify a little more, the first move, he's almost always, I think most always, he's going to give you two perspectives. He would say, if I was going to wreck this retail group, I would slam price up through 980, then swing it back down to wreck them all, targeting 870. That is going to be that first move that he calls. So the first, if he says, I'm going to slam it through here and then slam it back down to here, you don't usually want to take that first move, because that first move is not usually the move, more days than not. What I do when I play it is, if he says I'm going to slam it through 980, we'll say, and then pull the rug out from under him and pull it back down to here. When I see it break that 980, I'm not short until it gets back into 980. You could set a limit order if you want something like that, but you don't want to short that until it gets back in. That is when it's going to go back down. So like, for instance, yesterday, if we look at how yesterday played, right here, for those that were on, you guys remember he had said, it was like 814 or something. I would slam it down below 814. He used some kind of words, that suggested it was going to go pretty deep, before trying to rip it back up to, like, I think he said 850 or something like that. But we never broke the 813. No, never broke back above it. So this is where I had a few questions yesterday, by not many, but a few, that um, that basically asked. I thought the first move was a trap move, right? And saying that they didn't take the short. Well, I didn't take the short either, guys, because I'm really really big on, I need stuff to happen a certain way before I will take it. I don't care what happens. Now, for me to take that short, I would have wanted it to either pull, then tap, then kind of doji, and then close, and then I would have took that short. I'm more top and bottom. I'm not a huge fan of just jumping in on a continuation kind of play. Many of you took the short, and that's awesome because many of you are continuation style traders. So you get that close below that low. That's your jam, anyways. But what I would have liked to see is, I was wanting to see a pull. Then here I would have took the long back to there. Then I would have shorted it potentially from there. And it didn't play out the way I had two scenarios I wanted, and so I didn't take it. And I'm telling you guys, take it for what it's worth. If you can't let something go without freaking out that you didn't take it, you're gonna have a lot of issues with consistency. So, yeah. So I didn't take it either, Sir King. And so on the Haikanashi question, you're gonna have to give me a minute because we gotta get going for open here. But I do have a reason, and it's a very valid reason. So you'd probably be surprised, but a lot of actual experienced traders lean on Haikanashi more than candles. Candles are the first thing you typically learn, but there's a reason to do it. But you just have to you have to understand how to interpret them and the style and all that. But so back on the Neo thing. Again, he does really well on his first directional call. It almost tends to hit that first direction every time. But if he says slam it below 70 before ripping it back up to 980, you don't take the long on the slam of 70, because if it doesn't reclaim 70, it's just going to keep going. The reclaim is when you jump into that long, and then you have something to set a stop at. So if you lose this and reclaim it and you jump in, now you have something to set a stop with if you want on that. But I will, my caution for you guys today, all of you, is today's post-CPI. There's, the way I treat news is, we had our swing high, we had our swing low. We are internal until we're not. You can see we're obviously trying to squeeze the upper part. It's because it came out as expected. I was saying all day yesterday that this squeeze south was likely a long squeeze before the news, right? People were just kind of taking profit. Institutions were buying according to Neo most of the day. And so as it was dropping, they were probably accumulating. And so then it got pushed up. So theoretically, should have more upside. But the way you treat this today, and we'll again lean heavily on Neo, is you use the high and the low. If we break this high with some steam, come open, as long as we stay above this high, it's going to have deep upside because we're holding on that high of the news. The way normally news acts is you may get a push, which is fine. If you lose that high like this, it's pretty damn certain that it's going to come all the way back to retest that low. That's just a news swing, right? They clear the equity of that low. So, but we'll see where it goes. The most important critical level to me is going to be this 30,077. If I get above that, no chance in hell am I shorting. No tops, because it can go a lot further up based on technicals. And if you look at the 1 hour, you can kind of see why. We have nothing but massive tops here, but it's also the top that dropped us really far from the larger structure. So if we breach that, plus it's our prior high here. If we breach that, it can go a lot higher, guys. At least 30,000 to 88, and then the next one will be there. So But just, you know, be careful, be safe. And for those that are new, this is Neo over here on the side. We did a little pre-market TA, just kind of playing with it. We did set up this kind of larger pivot structure, fib retracement from the push to the pull here, because we were wanting to kind of test that out. And so when you look, we got a pull yesterday right to the 618, reclaim the 0.5 and the 382, which typically gives expansion. So no matter what the news came out, it did what it's supposed to do structure wise. So I'm going to leave this one here unless we really expand past it, because I think it's going to be critical if we do get any kind of downside come open here. And so for those new to my stream, I'm going to put on my indicators as well. The way that my charts are set up, my right side is my 1 minute, put it back on the 1 minute, and my left side is my 15 second. I do chart on the 15 second. It's forming a wedge, so who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows anyways, because news coming out. We don't know how the market's going to treat the news. So, but your wedge theories, I'm assuming you're talking about that, but yeah, those are usually irrelevant until the news comes out. But the open with the CPI at 8:30. So it's a post news, but remember the CPI drops at 8:30. So there's a lot of orders out there that can't do anything with it till 9:30. And so that's where you end up getting that extra volume. So we did look at it as well, and you can see we're kind of playing with the fact that we got a little bullpen action going on, which is just trying to break. So just be really, really, really careful trying to short it. For this to push up, if we break the 988, it's going to sweep up hard. If we hit here and reject, it'll definitely pull. If we break back below this in that 900, then it'll likely pull pretty good. So, my screen, when I trade, guys, I'm going to be in and out, in and out, in and out. And what I mean by that, I'll show you guys quickly. I love the argument of you trade on a 15 second, you crazy. It is crazy if I were to trade like this, like most of you, with your candles way in. I don't just trade this. I look at the entire structure. I want to see it all. And it's funny because it doesn't matter the time frame that I'm on if I can read through the noise. So if I'm looking at here, yes, I'm very 15 second. But guess what? If I look here, I'm very 1 minute, and maybe a little out further, this is now very 5 minutes, right? If I were to side by side them, as long as I can understand the highs, the lows, the pivots, the structure, and interpret the news in between, if I were to zoom it out like this and show you, it's going to be a similar move structure of maybe an hour. And so that is why I stay on one chart purposely, because it's easier for you guys to see that. But sometimes I will pivot to looking at the dual. So and the reason I do that is my 1 minute, I do want to see what that candle's doing. The 15 second is where I will validate from within on that. So with Neo, which if you don't know who Neo is, I'll explain that here in just a minute. If he heavily weighs on, let's say 980, he'll say, I want a close and hold above 980 to take a long. That body close that he's basing it off of, you can use candle, but I teach people preferably to wait for the Heikin-Ashi body candle. I know the argument is, but it's not real price action. Well, if you right click your chart and you click here, you can use the real prices of the ticker. Now, I know that it's not going to be equal to the body, but it's not much off on a 1 minute most of the time. And if you're right on your long, a few points aren't going to kill you. So it's not that big a deal. I would rather have the average of the body close above it than the regular candle, because the regular candle is likely what they're going to use to trap people. And I've proven that many times. But when you get the close, so let's say a 1 minute comes up and closes. If he says close and hold, that's where I use the 15 second. I want to see Like let's say, for example, this was the 1 minute and we're closing. I may not see it on the 1 minute candle, but the 15-second, I can see that pull, the absorption north, and the close. I can't see that on that candle, but I can see it here. And that tells me that is a push, close, and hold. And that's why I like to use the dual time frame on that. But for the sake of open in a bit, we'll just kind of flip to we'll flip to just the 15 seconds. So let's look at the high. So that got to 950 exactly. So the white line here, it's something I taught a bit ago, where you want to mark the high and the low of the candle. So the low was 45, so just off. We do want those to be exact. So I'm going to lock these until they become irrelevant. So if you see that white one, that's just the swing high, swing low of the candle. So we have 7 minutes left, guys. Let's talk to Neo. For those who are not aware, this is Neo. He's our AI that our company created. He's all web-based. You can go to nextstepalgo.com if you are interested. When you come into the site, you'll go here. We do a 3-day free trial if anybody's interested. We want people to be able to try them out. You just click on the tile and it'll take you to that. So Neo is the AI across our site. This is TradeVision. So TradeVision is the brains, the hub. You know, he's your mentor, guide, signal caller, trade management, whatever you want him to be. He has called the market open move for the most part, for the better part of like 8 weeks now or something like that. I don't know. We're on some crazy running number. I will do my best to interpret what he's saying for those that aren't used to maybe what he says, or you're new to trading or all that. But the most important thing on Neo, guys, is he is AI and he does phenomenal, but focus just mostly on the levels. You know, don't get too caught up on the little semantics of things. But I do like to listen to how he says things, because it does matter how he says stuff. So I'll go a little bit more into the site and things like that.
Oh,
but
great. Nick's back. I was worried I'd have to start taking trading advice from the candles. I'm ready when you are. Let's see what kind of mess the market's made today. What are we looking at?
What was that all about? Anyways, he has personalities, guys. I keep him on funny because I think it's hilarious. If you want to mute the noise, you can put him on institutional, and he will just give you levels and liquidity and all that. But I think trading's very emotional and serious business, and every now and then it's just fun to get a little laugh. So I'm gonna mark out, because we only got 5 minutes left, the lines. So let's just see. As we prepare our charts here, post the CPI news, can you give us the key levels around this area that we should be marking on our charts before US Open here? So we'll see what levels he gives us. I'm going to make this one look.
CPI news turned the charts into a heart rate monitor after a double espresso, so let's keep this simple. With MMQ sitting at 29,970.25, the Europe high at 29,981.75 is your immediate overhead resistance, while 29,950 and 29,941.50 are the floors we really need to see hold as support. Keep your head on a swivel. Volume is screaming sell pressure, while the institutional flow is whispering to buy, and the market usually prefers to trap everyone on both sides before picking a real direction.
Okay. So institutional flow, yeah, still buy, but that will adjust come market open, so we'll see. All right, so he didn't give us a very wide range, which is fine. All right, that's kind of what he did yesterday. I love that he called out the 950, because it is big. So in his range, where we are from the higher point structure wise, we're kind of at a peak, so it makes sense that he would identify that top as we move into open here. The 50, I didn't put a blue line because I already have that marked. That's our that's our news high. Oh, choking him. The 941 is the floor that needs to hold, he said. So I'm curious what he does on the old market maker move, but I love when he says those kind of things, because if this is our kind of floor to hold, if we drop and sweep this and retest and stay below it, we're going to see a lot of downside. If we end up reclaiming that, then we'll see deep upside. And so Usually about a minute to 2 minutes before, I'm going to ask him where he would send price to the old most retail. I'm going to put him on sarcastic because I feel like I like him. Just the way he says it a little better. Oh, choking on some over. Hold on. Probably that gnat I swallowed yesterday. That was terrible. I was literally with the Mentor VIP yesterday, and we were talking. I had this gnat that's just been driving me crazy, and I did like a deep breath kind of talk, and oh yeah, full inhaled. Got some extra protein. We're good. It was terrible. Everybody almost see me live die via gnat. I feel like it's trying to come out too. Oh, it was horrible. Those in here who traded with me for a while, I don't think I've ever really like just ran off. And I was literally talking, and I did this like, and I go, oh, be right back. I had to run, man. Just like, ugh, it was terrible, horrible, stupid thing. Oh shoot, we didn't ask. Market is opening here shortly. Where would you send the price to wreck the most retail traders if you were running this book? My bad. I started talking about the net. Let's see if we can get it out here in time. It's going to be close.
If the goal is to harvest retail tiers, the easiest play is pumping this to the 29,988.50 Europe high to bait every breakout chaser, then dumping it back below 29,950. From a liquidity perspective, the trap route is grabbing those buy-side stops, making the 29,941.50 structure level the primary liquidity draw for the reversal. I'd only trust the breakout if price actually accepts and holds above 29,988.50. Otherwise, watch out for the long trap.
So, if you, he was expecting a push through, and then if we break back below, we would hit the 941. So again, if we push through, you don't take the short until we break back below on that, if you're going to take the short. So, ding, ding, ding. We did get our sweep up instantly on that already, kind of quickly. For the continuation, he wants to see a explosion through with a tap, with a jump. I will tell you, as awesome as he is, I would be kind of careful on the shorts just because we are above the news swing high. So anything above that definitely can jump on there. So I think for me, the only way I'm going to take this on the short, if it plays out, awesome, good, kudos. I would love to see it push and then break. If it plays out, it plays out. He's really good at it. Some of you guys I know love to take those plays, but we'll wait and see. So we did sweep it. Let's see if he hits his 940 target here. Okay. Yeah, he's about to hit it again. Oh, I mean, we did get the sweep in the pull, so I know many of you took that.
I got that one.
Let's see. Oh, he hit the TP. Oh, there he goes, guys. 9 weeks and 1 day. Neo did it again in 9 weeks and 1 day. I did end up jumping into it once we got the momentum closed there, so I didn't get a lot on it. I'm just trailing it. We'll see if I'm gonna see if it keeps going. I'm gonna trail it above 941. So if it comes back, otherwise I'm gonna just let it keep kind of ripping. But we got 900 is likely where it may try to bounce. Yeah, we're looking like we're gonna try to get a little bit of a bounce. So I'm still trailing mine, but he hit his TP. There you go. You got 1400 on it. Awesome. Yeah, Alton's been around long enough to know what to trust and what not to. I will always give you guys the humble disclaimer because although it does not feel like Neo, although Neo does not have a crystal ball, sure damn seems like it, right, Alton? So he was spot on. I would rip it through the 988 before slamming it down on them. You know, so we got it again, guys. There you go. All right. In our community, it's been 2 minutes and we're done for the day. Have a great day. No, just kidding. So who else took it? Come on. I know you guys did. I took that one. I just didn't take it. I didn't take it up here. I waited till it dropped. I wanted to see the push, the pull, the absorption. And so right about around here when I saw the momentum, I jumped into it for that pull because then I could stop above. But good job.
I forgot I had a take profit set, so it knocked me out at 350.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trailing it and then I closed it, but I should have just kept the trail. Oh, so it's dropping. So now, guys, awesome job. Awesome job. Think about it. You guys just traded not only a market open, you traded a market open. Yeah, didn't take enough. Hey, if you're green, Daniel, stop that. Get your FOMO out your head. For those in the community, you guys know, most of you, that he's done this every day. I have a rule that I heavily teach my mentor group, whether they follow it or not. When you take that move, if you take that opening move and you had a great profit from it, you need to put your ass on timeout. Meaning do not jump back in, because it gets easy to go, ooh, we dropped, man, we pushed. Now, where would I jump back in? If we could come back up and reclaim these areas, maybe. But I usually like to do the first move, then I'm going to slide the candle over, then I'm going to slide Neo over, because now, remember, all of these levels that he called was pre the data, the US data. So now we want to update our lines. We got to do our TA. Just let the market move, guys. There's going to be a million trades in there, so don't get crazy. Let's see. All right, great call. We actually swept that 988 freaking perfectly and went straight down below that 941. And so everybody caught that move. So great call on that. Now that you have the updated market data, can you outline where the institutional levels are that we should be concerned about? And let's see what levels he gets, guys. Yeah, welcome to Neo. 9 weeks in 1 day. I need you guys know those Santa Claus things? I need to put a calendar or just put a link on it or something. We'll do it at the
Glad the
end.
market actually listened for once. Don't let the ego get too big. It'll be humbled by the next candle. Since you're stuck in the institutional purgatory between support and resistance, keep in mind that the 29,821.41 to 29,831.41 area is your primary support zone below price, while 29,980.47 is the overhead gamma wall acting as the ceiling. I wouldn't touch this middle of nowhere nonsense. Wait for a clean rejection at that overhead wall or confirmed hold and bounce at the lower support zone before doing anything that costs you money.
Okay, so he's got 821 and 831. We'll just put them both, even though they're kind of close. Then he's got this one moved to 980 for the institutional side. So we'll put it at 980.50. Interesting, guys. We might range a bit because usually when he doesn't give a real far one, we range. So the other thing we want to look at, and I'm going to lean on him here again for another question, but remember, this is our high and our low of our news. We did a breakout trap, and then now we're just sweeping. Anything that stays above the 50%, so if you just take just a simple ruler, and you grab the high and the low, anything above that, guys, still runs the risk of a jump north. So be careful on your shorts. I wouldn't really. It's it's tough because if you stay below this high here, we've already broken and trapped the high of the news. So they could try to send it back, because most of the time, whether it's soon or throughout the day at some point, we'll come back and revisit the low of that news. It just does. But now we want to get to where we look at not only the institutional levels and context, but we want to get where we're looking at it structure-wise. So you guys might not be able to see it on TikTok, but I'll bring it up here. This right here was it was a line that we identified as potentially a top of a bull pennant on the high time frame. You can see we broke it, we held it, we shot, now we retested it and reclaimed it. If you really think about it, and this is how my mind works when I look at the market, if this is a critical level and this is a critical level, we swept the high and we swept the low. Now we're back internal. We don't know which way this is going to go from there. And so when you're looking at here on this level here, we want to just kind of look at the exhaustions, the play. From the candle perspective here, you can see we got a bounce higher than our 50, but we're also now rejecting around the 50. So if we take the high of that pivot to the low of that pivot, that's why it's stalling. We break above here, it will likely make an attempt for a higher high. If we stay below here, then it's just a down, up, down pull. So I would suspect if you're looking for more short plays, as we get that kind of close below there, it's going to try to aim for the pivot down. But we'll lean on Neo. I like to give him a little bit of time to kind of see where we're going to go. All right. So based on the market where it is, can you give me what your bias would be, and what would that trade setup be that is aligned with your bias? See the rejection on the 50, guys, plus the 941 institutional. I'm still
The
I
market is
haven't jumped
currently
anything.
doing the I can't make up my mind dance. Swing structure is
That's
dragging
funny,
it bearish,
Tony.
but
I love it.
institutional flow is still stubbornly buying, which usually just means we're in for a miserable afternoon of chop. My bias is a bearish lean because the structure is failing to make new highs, but I wouldn't dream of shorting this blindly into all that buy pressure. I would consider the short only on a confirmed breakdown and hold below 29,870, targeting the 29,841 support zone. A reclaim of 29,950 is my first warning that the sellers are losing, and the thesis is structurally invalidated if it breaks above the 30,001 high. If it doesn't give us that confirmation, I'm perfectly happy sitting on my hands.
There you go. So his lean is actually more bearish, which interesting. Wouldn't surprise me because the news came out as projected, which means we're priced in already. So we can go up or down. And so people see that as bullish because it came out better than it was, but it came out as expected. And the market loves to price in things. And so his theory here is that he doesn't trust a... actually, he didn't even give us a long. Well, I didn't ask for a long, actually. So his short setup is the 1 minute close below 870, targeting 840. Kind of a small target, so be careful on that because we do have a double institutional context. For me, it might be better to let it kind of come down, maybe break this, reject off of it, and then you can take it to the low of the news candle, which is normal. But so I probably won't take it, but I'd love to see it play out. So we're kind of seeing that setup now. So again, guys, when you break a news candle high, it's usually pretty expected to come back to the news candle low. Let's take a look at our overall high. So if we pull this down, you can see it bounced right off the 50 and now we're losing it. So if we get a sweep, push, sweep with the close, then that would be your drop. If it sweeps and jumps, pretty good chance that you're bouncing off of one of the fibs. And so let's pull this out. Yeah, so any kind of bounce off of 843 that reclaims 73 would really jump from there. But let's see. Can you give me what a long setup looks like? Would you wait for a breakout, or do you think there's potential to scalp some of these pullbacks? Again, he's AI, so all you have to do... Where did you get Jarvis? Oh man, don't we call him Jarvis? No, I know what you mean.
Oh,
That's
so
the
you
big
want to
one.
fight the bearish structure with a long? That never ends badly for retail. If you're really itching to go long, don't chase this mess. Wait for a reclaim and hold above the 29,891.41 gamma wall with a 1 minute candle close confirmation for a breakout, targeting 29,979.29 as the first meaningful upside level. Alternatively, wait for a pullback into the 29,811.57 to 29,821.00 support zone and look for buyer defense. A failure back below 29,868.75 is your first warning, and the long idea is structurally invalidated if it loses the 29,811.57 support wall.
Okay, so for his long, he wants to close above the 891, which would be really kind of this teal line as well anyways. And then, interesting, he has a target all the way up to the 979, which is up here. So they must have adjusted that wall, so I'm going to move that one down on that. And so, but, which could be if we reclaim that, that teal line there. Let's see. Drew, I don't know how you're getting slaughtered, man. It's only been open for 12 minutes. You kill me, Smalls. He literally called the move too. The push up and then the drop down. I don't know where you're entering or what your volume is. I mean, if you're running still really tight stop losses, you definitely gonna get in trouble. For the what you're looking at here, guys, this is Neo. So Neo is our AI that we created on our company. It's nextstepalgo.com. And we do a free 3-day trial. So when you come to our page, you're just going to see start here. Click on the TradeVision Neo AI, and you can start your trial. You don't have to connect anything, no settings. You just load them up and talk to them.
Yo, Nick, I'm loaded and ready. Let's see if we can actually make some money or just get trapped and chop again. Hit me with the levels.
All right. But yeah, you don't have to connect anything, guys. No settings, nothing like that. Up 10, down 150. Yeah, we'll have to see your entries on that. So as we're pushing here, guys, let's just kind of look at this structure. So you can see this pivot here. We're testing the 50. We get a close above that 50, we'll get that push to the 79 he was talking about likely. We got to be a little concerned at the news prior high. This 42.50 could definitely damper a bit. But as long as we stay below this 50 here, we do run that risk of coming all the way down here. So if you look at the short play, we did get that close likely on the 1 minute. Let's see. No, actually we didn't, because it was body close below 870 and we didn't get it on the 1 minute. 877. Actually didn't get it. Interesting. So, but notice how we're respecting that tail line, guys. I'm telling you, that thing is going to be... So, I'm going to answer that, Eric, in a sec here. And then I'll pivot if I see the market shift here. But keep an eye, guys, like I said, on this level here. If it can sweep, tap, or get a good close with the flat bottom, then it's pretty good likely to push to that one. But we have to also, like I said, remember, usually when you're in that news candle play, it likes to retest that low. But when you take the overall news, just the candle itself, that would be your 50% pull, and we're staying above it. And so that's why I'm not too keen on shorting that. Why I said, what?
So the bears are fighting it though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as we stay below the news candle, we're likely to come to the bottom of the news candle. So, but it's not bearish yet because we have a news candle. You can see we're kind of holding this uptrend. We had a good sweep and then we pulled down. So this would need to break below this level here before I would really trust the short. Because if it breaks through here, there's just a long way down. So, but why I hesitated on the win rate answer. Two things. One, he doesn't trade for you yet. We're actually almost at a point where he's going to. That's the intent. So he's not trading for you. So you really don't have a win rate. You can have how accurate is his guidance, but it's not really a win rate because he's not executing things for you. As far as his guidance, I think everybody will tell you it's really good. Have I put a percent to it? No. But I don't really put a percent to that because win rate is something I'm going to tell you guys going forward. You should probably rarely ever ask, because as an experienced trader, I can tell you I can have a 99% win rate and ask you if you want to follow me, and you would say absolutely, until I explained to you that I, on the 1%, took a trade, let it go to break, and lost all my money. But I have a 99% win rate, guys. Follow me. Whereas I have shown many times on my mentor group, my coolest one, I had like a $13,000 day with a 65% win rate. If I told you, hey, I have a 65% win rate, man, you should follow my trades, you're going to laugh. But if I followed it up with, I made 13 grand, you're going to go, sign me up, right? Win rate is so subjective. It's the norm in the industry to ask. Everybody loves to ask that because it's what we're taught to ask, but it really doesn't mean as much as y'all think it does. And anybody that is running a live or a community, that is very easy to to say my win rate is like, if you were to ask me that question, what is his win rate, and I were to say really quickly that his win rate is a 98.32%, like, it's crazy to me how quickly people just go, oh, that's cool, and then they believe it. Right, with no data to back it up, to no see it. The best way you ever see, it's not about win rate, it's about accuracy. Like, how good is the guidance, right? And the only way that you're ever going to see that or believe that is if you see it real time. And so, which in that perspective, many people you probably have seen in the comments would say he's pretty accurate. And so, but good job on that bounce up. That's why I was telling you, I don't trust shorts unless we get below that. So I'm more take the long, right? So the long that he called above the 891, I'm in. Where I got in was the moment it closed above there. So I'm just kind of trailing it, but it hit my TP on that little pop. So I took an aggressive or not aggressive, a conservative TP of just below the news high. I didn't want to risk going to the 79. So it'd be cool if he gets the 79, but I don't care if it does. I'm cool with it. And so that was nice. So this is the importance of understanding, one, being patient, two, interpreting, right? So
You'll be glad to know I
good
did
job.
not take a short.
So proud of you, Cody.
I did good on the longs.
Gotcha. Good deal, Eric. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's spot on. So those new to my community or the company here or TikTok channel, whatever you're in, my goal is to kind of get you guys out of the normal thinking of the industry, meaning retail thinking. I don't think very retail. I don't look at the market that way. And when I do things, it's a little unconventional, but there's purpose to it, through a lot of analytics and studying. And so that is also why I have so many people that are subscribed to Neo and they've reached out saying that they've tried to make an AI and it can't do what Neo does. And that's, if you're watching, the next question, if anybody's thinking of asking, where are you connected? What's your data source? Some things I'll tell you, some things I'm just going to tell you. Why would I tell you? If I'm being blunt, right? We accomplished something that is one of the most difficult things to do in this industry. And that is to teach an AI to actually interpret the market. And it's not as easy as it sounds. Everybody thinks AI is, throw all the data at it and it'll figure it out. And let me know how that works for you. And so that's what makes Neo very, very, very unique. So, but with that said, if you look at his two setups, thinking on his guidance, he said I would take a short on a 1 minute candle body close below, I think it was 70. We did not get the body. Typically, I teach people to reference it through Heikinashi. The reason is Heikinashi is an average, not necessarily true price when it comes to the body. But would you prefer, or I guess I'll ask it differently, would you agree that an average close body below a level that you're looking at is a stronger confirmation than just the actual body close below that level, right? The average is going to be stronger. And so that shows strength and it keeps you out of fakeouts. The bigger traps are typically set for those that love to use candles. Now there's certain strategies that you have to use candles, but that's where they're going to set the traps because most retail use candles. And there's a lot of other reasons I use Heikinashi. I love to see the flat bottoms, flat tops. I like to see what I refer to as pivots. So when I see a big move like this, I can mark this as a pivot, high, low, and it matters what it does within that pivot. So it's very easy to see dojis. You'll hear me reference dojis. Do you like to watch those on Heikinashi? All the other candle fun titles and patterns I don't really refer to. I will typically refer to them more as absorption. So this I would consider absorption to the south. When you have a long wick like this, that would be more absorption to the north. You have absorption to the north. Doesn't mean it's going to go north, but you can measure a high and low of that candle. And if you close below it with the body, typically it's going to be down. If you close above it with the body, typically it's going to be up on that. So a lot of reasons I use that within Heikinashi, but his short guidance never played out. I'd be curious if it did on candles. Let's see. Ah, look at that. On candles, it did by $1.25. Let's see, you would have got faked out. Perfect example of why Heikinashi is better. And so when it flipped, notice his candle body above the 891 was what he wanted. So this is when you would have gotten on the 1 minute, which would have been the 912. Likely price would have been around 918, 919, but we still went all the way to 970. You see what I mean? So it still ended up a better call. So we did not get all the way to the 79 that he talked about. But again, this is why I tell y'all, either you need to, if you're going to set a TP at 79, he's really good at hitting that. And he probably will at some point here. But if you're going to set a TP at 79, you want to trail it also, because you don't want to miss it by, I had one person that blew my mind because he missed a 200-point move target by, what was it, guys, like $2 or something like that, and the person, it was like $3 or maybe $5, I don't know, and we're all celebrating wins, but it reversed hard and they got stopped out, and they're like, man, like, why are you celebrating a win? He wasn't right. He didn't hit his TP, and people blew him up, man, on TikTok. They were like, he just called it 200-point move. Like, why didn't you take profit? He missed it by $5. Like, come on. And so, but guys, I purposely do these updates and talk after each win that he does, because I want to purposely put you all on timeout. So, all right, I was just explaining to the TikTok crew and the community about the move and some technicals, and that short guidance you gave. We didn't quite get that candle body close, and so we didn't pull the trigger on the short, but we did get the candle body close on the long, so everybody took that long. So great call on those levels. I have to tell him when they're good because he self-analyzes. I want him to know that what he gave TA-wise worked, and so that way he can record it.
Look at that. The market decided to actually cooperate for once. Don't let it go to your head. Since you're already in the long, the 29,977.44 gamma wall is your first real target, so maybe trim some size into that wall. We've got some weird institutional conflict where the pivot is supported but the flow is selling, so I treat the 29,977.44 zone as a rejection risk rather than a guaranteed breakout. Watch 29,889.56 as your floor. If that breaks, the long is effectively dead and you're just donating to the house.
I'm just looking at the structure. The way this all looks, guys, I want to go back to the 15-second look here. So you got to think about this. We had our news high, new low. We broke a critical level. We lost it, swept it, hit the 50, rejected, created the lower low, but as weak extension. Kind of created an ugly looking, inverse if you play that. Pushed us back up, but we rejected on the prior low area at a lower high. That typically, when that rejects and hits a 50% drop from there, it creates a lower low. So be careful, don't jump into any kind of longs yet. Institutions, he said, are selling, but the pivots was showing strength, and so see the lower low creating. I'm not taking the short. I always, like I said, guys, when I am talking out loud or I'm calling these things, I don't take every trade. I want to see, is the market doing what it's supposed to do? And that's the key when you learn, is if certain things happen, like this structure, when you have the high, the pull, the push, the pull, the 50% rejection comes down, rejects below that low, it creates expansion to a lower low. Typically, that's what it should do. That's how you kind of can get ready to play those things. Now, the inverse of that is when it gets that pull, that lower low it created already here. it may not right away create a lower low there. And so it could get a little push. But what we want to see is, where does that push? How high? When I do my Fibber retracement, I'm typically aiming mostly just for the pivot. So I just want to see from the high to the low of this pivot, how high does this come up? What's the strength? If it can't get past 382 and it loses 236, it's coming to there. If it can't get 0.5 and it loses these, it's going to there. Now, if it gets through the 382 and holds as support, you see that buyer pressure, then it's going to keep on going. So you're good. Good job, Brady. I love that response. Especially today, because it's CPI. I'm not rushing to take anything crazy. So I want you guys to keep your bias from the news pretty clear, because at the end of the day, it came out exactly projected. If you don't know, the price is typically already built in. So we could go up a lot more. Everything is more bullish than bearish. If you think about it from an overall higher perspective, we had our kind of drop, 50% pull. Remember, we just talked about that structure on the lower time frame. Drop, 50% pull, drop, loss came through, created that low, creates the lower low. But what's interesting, that's what happened yesterday. Now, today, we reclaimed that entire pull with an overall structural higher low on that. And so this was kind of that pennant we were kind of watching, which is not really respecting the line. So we might pivot from that. But we'll see. We'll let the open kind of go through. But and so for us to we have to assume we're bullish until we're not. And so you got to stick to that structure. So if we go higher time frame and we take our pivots, you can just take a simple ruler and you can tell that's our 50. So around 769. If you take the fib, because we are measuring a bullish pivot, we'll go low high. And you can see this rejection broke the 236, didn't even get to the 382 and reclaimed it. So if it stays above there, that's a pretty strong hold. So just be careful in the shorts. You can also look structure-wise, these are prior highs, which is where we held. So anything above that runs a bigger risk of up until we break below that, which would be from within that. And that's where I keep saying, if I get a push in and I lose it, I'm down to take some shorts. But the better play would be if we can drop here, reject here, lose here, because then it's likely going to test that one or even lower. Would be your better short play, safer anyways. So I will tell you guys from a psychological side of it, people see these news events as, I'm about to get the big move, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And market makers, a lot of times, in the big dogs, they know that. And what that means is you're going to get these breakout traders taking it north, and then it will drop. Then it will come down at some point, bait this short, and then it will pump. And then we end up ranging, and the breakout traders trying to capture that, $1,000 move get wrecked because you're trying to take the breakout, and we end up oscillating. So, which could happen. You can see we have a 200-point, high-low range, and until we break out of that, now, nobody really knows which direction is gonna hold it. So, and that's where Neo comes in. AI can interpret things a lot quicker than anybody can. No matter how many years you've been trading. I have a trader who's traded, I think he said it was like 24 or 25, something like that, years. And he's successful and profitable, and he just messaged and he's like, man, this thing is legit. He goes, I signed up to it. And I find that is the biggest compliment, because it's not that they need it, but it's a work smarter, why work harder, And if Neo can give all the levels and that person knows deeply how to interpret it, shit. I mean, those who used to watch me guide these mornings know I used to, I had to put in work. And now my mornings are mostly like, hey, where are we going? All right, guys, if that happens, we're going there. It's just, he makes it so easy. And so, but let's get back in and see. So again, I was explaining some things. One of the things I talk about with the people I teach is after each win, put yourself on timeout, let the market evolve a little, and then wait for the next setup. So now that we've kind of been through our timeout, what is our next setup that has the higher probability? I'll let you choose to give me either both or one. Sometimes I'll put it back on them. You choose. You know, I don't want to lead the horse to water. So.
Gonna lead the horse to slaughter.
Slaughter.
Good call on the timeout. The market is currently like a
Depends what
toddler
state
after
you're
a
from,
sugar
Mike.
rush, just spinning in circles. Right now, MNQ is compressed between the active leg midpoint at 29,902.25 and that gamma wall at 29,911.41. It's not exactly a clean runway for a trade. For the long, I need a 1-minute candle close and hold above 29,911.41 to prove buyers are actually in charge. If that confirms, the first meaningful target is the 29,920 area. If price fails
that's
that
not
wall
that's
and
not a
drops
very
back
big
below
target.
29,902.25, the bullish thesis is toast for now. Don't force an entry while price is just chewing on itself in the middle of this chop.
That is not a very big target. Let's see. So we have the gamma wall. Yeah, I may just skip that one because that's not really a big target for me. I'll wait for an entry that has a little more room to breathe. Do you see any potential longs or shorts that have a little more room to breathe as far as target wise if we want to be patient? So again, if you don't like what he says on it target wise, you just ask him again, like, I don't know about that one, that's a little tight. Like, what's the next one?
Smart move. Trying to trade inside that 29871, 29891 meat grinder is like trying to eat soup with a fork. You're just going to make a mess. For a patient long, I'd wait for price to reclaim and hold above the 29,920 gamma wall. That clears the overhead headache and opens the path toward 30,001. If you prefer the dark side, the short setup only gets legs after price loses 29,871 and confirms acceptance below it, targeting 29,811. Pick your side, respect the levels, and let the market show its hand.
Okay, so the long would be a better target on that. He said you will be better if you let it get above 920 gamma wall, which would be right there. So I'm going to take out this one. I'm going to remove the news high one for now, just to keep everything clean here. On the short side, he's got 871 down to 811, so that's interesting. So 871, which we're kind of right there. Right there, and then his target was 811. I'm just going to move this one down. And then we'll take this one out. Okay. So Kiana keeps it clean. So we're in this little wall here that close below the 871 would be targeting the 811. Close above 920 would target the 30,001. Notice what he said, guys, because it really matters. Both can play out, but I always find it funny when he's like, this is where it'll propel up to there. If we get a good close above that. If you really want to join the dark side, as he said, you know, close below there would send it to there. So we did dip below it. Let's see. We actually got a little bit of a body close below it, but I don't know if that was before I asked him. But we actually got the body close just below that. Oh, that nether bat gnat is back. What is going on? The fun time of year. I'm not trying to breathe another one in. Jerk. My daughter put some stuff in our garage and then decided to leave the door open as we found out there were some fun gnats in our garage. So now we have the pleasure of getting the little ones left in here out, and they just love to sit and drive me crazy. Good old gnats. Looking at this play here, guys, this 921 could be pretty strong if it can get above it, because we do have a lot of buy pressure here. We do have the sweep. This is our 50% hold of that pivot with a pull. Couldn't create that deep low. Reclaimed it. Flat bottom. If this can close above that doji, it supports more strength north. So just be careful of the south. We want that close above the 920 ideally. would be your safer play, you know, in order to take that up. You don't always have to take it to a TP if it does do it, because that, you know, you don't want to take a bunch of profit to give it all back because we missed it by $3. So if you're gonna do a TP there, just trail it. If you want to take something safer, you can kind of look at like just below it, or maybe a prior leg, like something like that, right? If you were to do it. So, but it looks like it wants to set up. We'll see if we get the close above to actually get that play. And so when we look at the overall pivot, you take the high and the low, you can see we're just rejecting on the 50. We got to reclaim that. So at least get a close above there, and then that will spring. So we can also use the micro pivots, which would be here to here. As long as we stay above that, it's going to support the strength, and then it's just a matter of time. So just some simplistic ways to look at it. Is there any trap moves out there or conflicts that you are able to identify that we should watch for? And which way does the trap risk look stronger, bullish or bearish? So he does identify traps, things like that, anomalies. That's the beauty of AI. And so I like to ask him that question at times.
MNQ is acting like a rookie trying to sprint a marathon in flip-flops. Very aggressive, but likely to trip over its own shoelaces. The bull trap risk is currently looking stronger because we're frantically cramming into that 29,921 resistance wall without a pause. If we poke above 29,921 and immediately choke, that's your classic breakout bait. If you want to spot a bear trap, watch for a quick flush and reclaim of that 29,891 support wall. That's where the shorts usually get their pockets picked.
Okay. Well, you can see pushing it up to without pause. If we poke it and immediately choke, that's your classic breakout trade. So if we break above the 20 and we immediately absorb south, that's your breakout bait, and we're gonna drop. If we do end up getting any kind of sweep here below that 890, is what he was saying, they would sweep it before sending it back up, you know, stop on door. The beauty of Neo to you guys is when he gives these setups while we wait, I love to give demonstrations for you, is if you don't understand something, you could always elaborate. And so I can always kind of do something like this. I noticed that they do that. If they want to push it long, they tend to like break it out a little, then they sweep back before going back north. That's your classic stop hunt basically, right? Like your trap. And so I'm doing that purposely just to, if I have a thought or whatever, I want to tell him, and he's going to reiterate. He's going to make you understand it better or just be better, you know, as a trader.
You got it. That's the market's favorite parlor trick, the classic liquidity sweep. The market loves to dangle a breakout or breakdown in front of retail traders like a carrot, wait for everyone to pile in, and then snatch those stops before moving in the real direction. Price is currently hovering right near the 29,920.23 gamma support. If it dips below that level and snaps back fast, that's your textbook example, clearing the decks before the next push. Just don't let it fool you into entering on the fake-out side of the move.
Okay, so there's their 20, really it's 20.25. Okay, so I'm going to line the charts up just to show you. So everything in trading, guys, there's no perfect entry. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's all risk and reward. You can watch this 1 minute candle, and if you get a body close when this ticker hits 0, that's your long. More than likely will go. If you want to be safer, you would let the 1 minute close and then watch the 15-second give a little pull with the push. But if you do that, you might miss it. And you're not going to have as big of the potential reward side of it, if you will. And so we're getting the the push and hold. So we are flat bottom. Remember the doji close above I was telling you supports it. That's just something simple I use and teach for Hakanashi. And you can ask them things like, can you break down what the buy and sell fractal is? Are the buyers winning this? And he can tell you, he's going to look at the retail volume coming in and tell you kind of who's winning that. And so
that fraction is just a fancy way of saying buyers are currently having a massive temper tantrum on the tape, shoving over 84% of the volume.
See the close?
Are they winning? Locally,
This
sure.
would
They're
be the
throwing all
hold.
the punches.
We need
But
the
keep your
push.
head on a swivel because institutional flow is still shouting, sell, from the back row. It's like a crowded bar fight. The retail buyers are causing all the noise, but the big money is quietly walking out the back door.
Okay, so this is what I was referring to. We got the close above it, right? That could be your entry for it. And as long as you sustain from the pivot above the 50%, right? Around there, 892, then you still have strength. This is why I love the 15-second, because now you have the close. This would be the hold. So I would have preferred this to push, hit, close above. That gives me my close plus the hold. Doesn't mean it can't go up there, right? But yeah, there you go. And so we got the close, but we did not get the hold. So let's just see how deep this wants to pull. So, because it typically gets the sweeps here. So if people were in that long at that 920 on the 1 minute candle close there, what would be their invalidation level below us? John, you funny. As long as we stay above here,
If those
it's
longs
still in play.
piled in near 29,920, their structural get out of jail card is sitting right below the active 5 minutes bullish order block in the recent swing low, around the
Ooh, that's deeper.
29,848.25 to 29,856.25 zone. If price drops through that, the bullish push is essentially folding like a cheap lawn chair. Don't be the guy holding the bag if that level snaps. That's where the structure officially says, my bad, to the bulls.
My bad. And so that's what I was saying, John. Remember, so you have two ways you want to look at this to measure the strength. We're holding the 50 down, which is support for the northern move. Now you take the pivot this way, and do we respect that? So if we come up here and hit this, it's going to come for a lower low, and we will likely drop pretty good. We respected the pullback. Anything push, pull is just a liquidity sweep, right? It's a equity clear. But we got to break back below that, because now we're trying to determine, is this just a healthy pullback that's going to explode back, or is it an actual push that fails that's going to begin a descent? So now you're kind of in between that 50 and this 50. And whichever one breaks out is likely where it's going to go, at least in short term. So, but let's watch and see. I know institutions are selling, but based on the structure, where's your line in the sand of whether you would flip to be bearish or bullish? Like, kind of where's that line in the sand? So we do have a 1 minute order block. I just noticed the trap and block playing out.
Listen,
so
the institutional flow is
interesting.
currently acting like they're trying to dump their bags while the chart is still trying to hold a party. Your line in the sand for the bearish flip is losing the 29,889.37
See how it's trying to hold
support
the
zone.
50?
If price confirms a breakdown and hold below that, the bears officially get the keys to the city and the party is cancelled. On the flip side, for the bulls to take control, we need a reclaim and hold above the 29,919.21 institutional pivot. Until then, we're just stuck in this compression zone playing expensive ping pong.
So it's a little tricky, guys, because again, we had the push. We're still holding the 50. We got to break above that 13, and then we'll get more propulsion. But we do have a trap and block showing south, and we're in a 1 minute trap and block showing south. Now this trap and block is wide, so we could pump all the way to 70 and still go south from it. But as long as it holds here, it's just an equity clear and trying to push, but it's still got to break above there, so where it's rejecting. So we'll see. Now we just kind of want to watch. So we're getting some dojis into the areas we should pull, but we're also getting them there. Not really showing absorption, but a little bit of buy strength into an area that shouldn't have buy strength. So we'll look and see. But we know the institutions are trying to sell, but lately when they're selling, we tend to go up, and when it's been almost like an inverse, like they're shaving and accumulating. So for me, I'm not really interested in looking short unless we break below this area here, I think is what I had, somewhere in here. And then that would be targeting your news low. But as long as we stay above that 871, we run a higher risk of jumping than dropping. So, but 920 is kind of his line in the sand. Oh, never mind. 889 was his line in the sand. Oh, that's pretty low, actually. Shit. It's pretty close. For those who didn't enter, if we reclaim that 920 and hold it as support, would you still see that as a good long setup, targeting that upper level? Well, let's see what he says.
If we reclaim and hold above that 29,920.69 resistance, yeah, that opens the door to the 29,937.69 zone, but don't treat it like a golden ticket. The institutional flow is still acting like it's trying to sell everything that isn't nailed down. Keep your structural invalidation tucked near the 29,889.37 support zone, because if we reclaim that level only to get rug pulled right back below, you'll be glad you didn't bet the farm on it.
So very interesting. We got absorption north on the 1. What I want to watch here, because we got a little absorption south, but we got absorption north here. So break above there would give us our propulsion. Break below there would give us our pull. So again, I'm not entertaining a short unless it gets below the 871. So, but I do not like these blocks up above. So I'm not going to take any kind of longs very, very deep. But let's see if we get any pressure from this. That 920 is what we got to break on that. So, oh, did you get back in on that, Alton? Nice. Yeah, it's supporting like it wants to. It's just in a very there's a lot. This is it's a tough zone, guys. See the rejection perfect on the 618. So. What this structure, why I'm hesitating, is sometimes when you get this chop, you'll get that sweep, then you get the pull, the rate of liquidity, before it tries to either break down or displace. And so that's where that raid's coming. So we never got back above that 920. So let's look and see. So we got the chop, sweep, rate of liquidity. I want to see if it gets any kind of bounce, because if it bounces, then that would be a true rate of liquidity. Reclaim the low and the high, that would be your displacement. Anything short of that, it can definitely pull. So let's look and see. Man, yeah, structure wise,
this is about the most compressed I've seen market open.
Oh yeah, especially post news. I just know that if you're taking any kind of longs, they're not bad above the low of a news, but you got to know as you're taking your longs, either manage your volume properly, but because you got to know it's pretty high damn probability that we retest that low of that news. That's the only thing that I'm kind of hesitating on, but I want to see.
Yeah, I got like 400.
Yeah,
and I've been up and down 100. Like
yeah.
This I ain't doing no more for now. I'm just watching.
Yeah. What I'm really mostly watching is, remember that pattern structure we play with, guys, where you get the chop, the sweep, the ICT part of it, the sweep, the rate of liquidity. So now it's only going to be displacement if we can break back above that 50 of that displacement, which would be at least here, 91, and then breaking this high would be what would give you propulsion through. So, but if we stay below that, we'll see that lower downside. But so let's see how the candles are acting here. Looks like the bears kicked in there. Do you think this is a trap to the south, or you think we might actually get some more action down? So we're bouncing
It's not a
right
confirmed
where we're
trap,
supposed to.
just a classic MNQ staring contest. Price is currently pinned inside the 29,856.25 to 29,880.75 bullish order block. trapped right between institutional support at 29,882.78 and resistance at 29,889.37.
Yep.
If sellers
Watch,
can't
here comes
shove
that
price
trap.
through the floor of that block at 29,856.25 and price reclaims 29,882.78, yeah, the short was likely a liquidity sweep. If it loses that block, the bears finally get the downside action they're craving. Want me to map the exact price level that confirms the trap?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. So again, guys, it's got to reclaim the low and the high. We're rejecting on the high, but I'm watching the retracement. If the retracement comes
No
too
problem.
deep, it's going to
Since we're looking
invalidate.
for that trap
I
confirmation,
want to see a
here's
bounce
the
right here.
plan. The
Jump.
short is worth considering only if price fails to hold above the
But we are compressed like
29,889.37
crazy right now,
institutional
guys.
support area and confirms with a 1-minute bearish candle body close below it. The first meaningful downside target is
Deep absorption.
29,849.37. Failure to hold that level and a reclaim back above 29,889.37 is your first warning, while a breakback above 29,917.75 would structurally invalidate the short. The long is worth considering only if price accepts above 29,934.37. Basically, you
Ooh,
need to see
he's
price
moving
grind
that.
through that institutional resistance
He
and
wants
prove it's not
34.
just another fakeout. First upside target is 29,950.00. Losing 29,889.37 is the first warning. A full structural invalidation for the long thesis is a confirmed breakdown below 29,821.00. Since the market is currently a bit of a compression nightmare, keep your stops disciplined. Don't let a trap turn into a hostage situation. Want me to map out how you'd handle a partial exit if price hits that first target?
So, because of the way the market is, guys, Neo is way more than just a signal caller. I always tell people that. And if you're just using him for signals, you're likely underusing him. And so when he gets to a certain point of where he wants to say something that he wasn't able to say in all that speech there, he's going to follow it up with a question. So let's see. Yeah, that would be great. We're actually getting a pretty good pressure from the buyers here. So we're getting that displacement that I was thinking about. See how that works on that, guys? You get this sweep, rate of liquidity, bounce, hold the 50, and then now it's almost confirming that displacement. If it can get
The
above
buyers are
here
definitely
and
trying
then
to make a
hold, it's
move,
going to jump
but this
pretty
market
good.
is currently acting like a moody teenager, stuck in compression and moody as hell. For a long, I'd wait for a 1-minute
There it
candle close and hold
is.
above that
I'm going to start trailing this
29,889.37 gamma
thing.
wall. If it sticks, 29,934.37 is the target. If it rolls back through 29,889.37, that's your warning the buyers are bluffing, and I'd kill the thesis if it drops below the 29,864.25 leg low. Don't let a buying push turn into a liquidity hunt that eats your stop.
So 934 is the next wall, which is also this block. If we get through that, it'll invalidate that wall and the block. Which gamma wall level should we treat as the biggest reaction level? So reaction level can be either support or resistance, guys. I'm just trailing this one from the entry on the push retest here from the play I was doing in the displacement.
The real headache right now is 29,934.37. That's your major gamma wall and the closest obstacle, effectively acting like the club bouncer for any bullish attempts. You're not getting past it without proving you actually belong there. If the market decides to take a nosedive instead, the major support down at 29,889.37 is the floor that's currently keeping the bears from throwing a party. Just remember, these levels are magnets and reaction zones, not magic reverse here buttons, so treat them as context, not a guarantee.
I tell you guys, I love him on either sarcastic or funny. It just cracks me up. I'm just trailing this thing, guys. So where I got in from it was when I identified that structure, played out perfect for that. And so I didn't enter it until I saw the push, the pull with the doji, the close above there. And so I jumped in there. So I'm just trailing it. And so, let me move it because shit, there we go. I'm going to trail below the 934 because if we break back below that, then it's going to go back down. Otherwise, we remember his target was, ultimate was like that 30,001. So I'll be surprised if we get there, but shit, maybe. So I'm going to have mine at 32.75. If it dings me, it dings me.
Oh, I missed my target by
Nice.
$12. Get out of here.
I'm trailing it probably too tight. Shoot. 25. I might pull it down below that 25 because if it stays above that high, I'm gonna do 24.75. That's fine. I'll give up a little bit because I'm already playing with profit. So if it tops it, it tops it.
It's not my strong suit.
I want us to give it a little room to breathe because if we stay above these highs, the 25, any kind of pull here with a push and a close is going to give that a deep expansion. We do kind of have a little minute push. So if we lose that high and that low, it's going to drop pretty far. Pretty cool to see that play out though, guys, right? So his original one was like 30,001, but let's see. I think right here, first upside target is 950 is what he said. If it broke the 20 back then, but oh no, that was when he said if we lose and reclaim he had 934 to 950. So that one was really tight, but the original one he had before then was the 30,001. What institutional liquidity sits above us from here? Let's see if there's anything that moved up there so we can adjust that. Again, we are in a block, guys.
The market's busy
1 minute
playing
block.
bumper cars, but the 29,938.72 gamma wall is the
And
one
we're
trying
really
to
just
shut the party
oscillating.
down. 29,934.37 has officially flipped into a floor, so as long as we're holding that as support, retest context, the bulls are still alive. If you're looking for the next ceiling, 29,984.37 is lurking higher up, but with sellers still pressing, chasing this breakout would be like trying to catch a falling knife. If that knife was made of
Pull
pure
the
foam.
905. Okay, so let's move this one. So he said 84.37. So that's probably more realistic. I got trailed out on mine. I have one rung left in there because I always trail half of it. And so if we break back below the 870, then I'm out. But aside from that, what I'm watching here is we now have a pivot high, pivot low. We are rejecting on a loss of a key level. Anything that pushes and pulls 50% is still in play to go long. If it loses this and rejects, then it's likely going to break down. And so, but we're just really oscillating. You got to be careful because again, you look in the 1 minute here, it's doing some signs that show it wants to come up to retest this upper, but we're also in a trap zone. And those things on these blocks are just so good. So it's not ideal usually to go long in those blocks, but it is structurally looking like it wants to try to take it. Notice how again we're getting a bounce. Isn't that so cool, guys? That's the easiest thing you can ever learn is just take a ruler like that. Like John, remember earlier when you were throwing out the little cry emoji? Like, guy, man, settle down. We haven't even broken the 50. I'm messing with you, John. Don't freak out when we start breaking the 50 and losing that steam, then we want to be like, and not only just breaking it, guys, because you could be a fib test, right? But if this were to break the 50 like this and then push up and it can't reclaim that pivot 50 and it comes back down and loses this micro pivot 50, then you should be worried because the bearish pressure is coming in too strong. Oh, nice. Oof, look at this sweep. See, I'm telling you, these bearish plays right here, man, they don't play, but that is quite a stop hunt, guys. Let's see. I got wild. So now we have an interesting set because now we kind of have that opposite. We got that chop. We just had a sweep. The play would be a potential rate of liquidity, and then a loss of the high and the low would give you that deeper displacement. So, but as of right now, look, that was just a sweep.
What was that?
Oh, that was a stop hunt. That's what that was. So now when we get those stop hunts like that, we don't know if it's inducement or a stop hunt. How you determine is take the high low, and if it can break and hold above the 50 like this, then it was a stop hunt and it's going to explode. If it sweeps, loses, and drops, and it never breaks the 50, then it was just inducement, right? They were just sweeping the orders before they sent it back down. Yeah.
Didn't Neo call that about 10 minutes ago?
I think he might have. I missed some of what he was saying because I was looking at my levels, but let's see.
I thought I heard him say that, and then we would test to see if that was a real move.
Oh, right here.
Then we would do the real move.
Yeah, he was saying that the first structural invalidation of the long thesis is confirmed if you break below the 821. And then he was talking about the trap, might have been when he brought that up about that, but yeah. So he wants a break and a hold below 821. So now again, we're just determining, is this a stop hunt or is it absorption to the north and reversal? So the way you play it is if you get a close above here, above that 13, that means you're stop hunting. And it's some of those plays, guys, those are some of the better plays you can do because those stop hunts like that, they stop out everybody, and then now they have the equity to push it if they want. So, oh, did he just tweet that? Oh gosh, watch your volume. So let's see. Man, they did what you were saying, and they just did a little sweep below 871 down towards the 821, and we just got a really big bounce. How should we treat that? So I'm going to ask him questions purposely again to kind of show you guys.
The bears tried to steal lunch money and got smacked. Classic sweep. Don't fall in love with the bounce just yet, though, because price is still pinned under that 29,885.01 gamma wall, which is acting like overhead resistance right now. I wouldn't trust a long until we reclaim and hold above that level. Target 29,905.01 if it sticks, and if it craps out back below 29,864.25, the long thesis is structurally
64.
dead.
Okay, so 64 is what he would say your long thesis is dead. That target is still a little tighter from my taste. On that long, that target's a little tight. Would I have a further target if I waited until we got above 905? Because we're kind of already on that, right? So, again, if you take this structure, guys, we reclaim the 50, but we're losing it too.
If you wait for price to clear the 29,905.01 wall, 29,936.31 is your next legitimate stop. Though honestly, waiting for a clean breakout here is like waiting for a polite driver in rush hour. By the time you decide it's safe to enter, the best of the move has usually already left the station. Just keep your invalidation tight to 29,885.01, because if the bulls can't hold the gamma support, the whole upside party gets canceled faster than a bad reality show.
What's interesting to me, so a lot of times when you get this play I was talking about, you get the stop hunt, the rate of liquidity, the displacement, you hold the 50, and then you get the continuation. This one came deep, and so that's why I wanted to reclaim here, because then that would be what it should have done, and then that was just deep stop hunt. It's interesting how compressed we are. If you look at all the data that you have and do your best interpretation, what do you suspect the breakout is going to be? More northern or southern? And again, guys, I just like to see what he thinks, but he's probably going to tell me nobody knows. Trying to predict it is like trying to...
We are currently stuck in a pinball machine, but if I'm forced to bet, the data is leaning southern. The bearish structure score is sitting at 81 with negative institutional flow, which is basically the market telling us it's tired of the climb. However, price is caught in a 5-point institutional death trap between support at 29,880.01 and resistance at 29,885.01. I wouldn't trust the southern slide until we confirm a breakdown and hold below that 29,880.01 floor. If the bulls actually show up, reclaim that 29,885.01 resistance, and punch through the Lisma at 29,897.50, the bearish thesis gets sent to the penalty box. Want me to map the exact invalidation if we start pushing north?
Yeah, that would be great because it's doing something I've seen before where they typically trap that southern and try to sweep it back northern. So if you can break down what I should be looking for, I want to see if it validates what I see. And again, if you have questions, guys, you just ask him. Even if you got your own strategy, he will help you validate.
I get the instinct. Catching that southern sweep before it swoops back north is classic trap play, but you have to let the market paint the setup before you jump. I would wait for price to drop and flush through the 29,856.25 to 29,880.75 bullish order block. Then watch for a reclaimed hold above 29,880.75 with a 1-minute bullish candle close. If that confirms, the first meaningful upside target is 29,935.69. A failed reclaim back below 29,880.75 is your first warning, while a sustained loss of the 29,829.00 structure level would structurally invalidate the long thesis.
Okay. See how it's doing what we were talking about? What I'm interested to see, we may end bearish because kind of similar to what we did on that micro level. You can see we have a little chop, and then right at the end of the chop, we had a sweep. That usually ends up inverse, right? You have a sweep, a push, and then you're going to have a rate of liquidity. And then when you lose the high and the low, you get the displacement. And so could happen. So just be careful trying to chase along too far. We're just chopping, guys. Remember what I was telling you guys in the open? Everybody wants to chase the breakouts of CPI. And so your longs go there, got stopped out. Shorts go there, got stopped out. Longs go there, got stopped out. If you decided to put your stop just below the low, like all the good books tell you, you got stopped out. Is that happened to you, right, Brant? When I saw that comment. That did not get my stop. So I want to measure strength, and I don't. The interesting thing, guys, this sweep, now we've broken the high of the candle. That is more upside, not downside. The measure of the strength, you can do the ruler or you can take the low to the high. And if we stay above that 382, reclaiming here, then it supports upside. And so I still have that little rung that I had in there. When I got this sweep, pull, retest, close, I added a little volume there. And so I'm trailing that volume out. And so, but I'm up like 2,800 on this one. So this is a rapid too, so it's a payable one. But I'm going to keep my volume low because I know CPI can get crazy, and especially if old Trumpsters out there tweeting. I don't want to get crazy here. So I'm going to shave, I think, that wrong on a TP just below that level there. So we'll do the 2950 and the retest. Yeah, just in case we get an equal retest. That's fine. But it's a tricky zone, guys. You know, do not overtrade today. Today is CPI. It can get crazy, you know. But I'll tell you the one thing the reason why you probably have gathered my bias of being more long than short than is we had a really big pull yesterday that kind of hit areas it should have hit, and we did a full reclaim, and the news didn't come out worse. So it kind of gets the market, in a sense, gets back to business, right? Where it wants to just go back to trying to climb. Doesn't mean we can't pull back. I think it was like 700 and something that we could get back to, which was the low, 745 of that candle. But I'm not seeing a lot of like deep bearish things yet. But it is the only thing that is heavily for me is this trap and block is just so good. Which actually is funny because if you think about it, it would play out because you'd have sweep, this, you know, the rate of liquidity up into the block. It's the deeper displacement could be. But don't overtrade today, guys. The FOMC days, the CPI days are the days you definitely do not want to overtrade. But how are you guys doing? P&L. I see people dropping off on TikTok and even on the Google Meet, so it's good to see people getting done. I did see some people reporting their P&Ls, which is awesome. Awesome. How'd you guys do? Whoever's left. We got 10:42. We don't trade past 11, so I'm about to cover the screen here. I'm just waiting to see this move because I want to see if we get the pull and bounce here, or do we get the pull and bounce from here to the leg low? Because that's going to tell me the strength of this, if it's going to push through this or drop. And so, but again, guys, if you are interested in Neo and you're watching, you guys can try them. So we do a free 3-day trial for you guys. You don't have to set any data up. There's no settings. There's no crazy stuff. Can you even do it from your mobile? So I want to see. We're getting a pretty good bounce, damn near to the dollar of that. So we would want the bounce and the close above. That would support that invalidation. Anything short of that, it could come back down. But the other thing, you guys know I love the why. Why are we absorbing into a resistant? See that? I just noticed that candle. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at getting the trap. The old trap and block. I love that thing. Dun, dun, dun. Look at this. Again, absorption into it. As we sit here and watch, I know that at times the levels change. Can you please verify the institutional levels and reaction zones that we should be watching around here? I always like to ask him just to kind of update my channels. Yeah, you can ask him on the high. He has all the way up to the daily.
As we sit here watching the market play hot potato, here are the levels that matter right now. Price is currently pinned between the 29,930.01 to 29,930.72 overhead resistance block and the 29,905.01 to 29,905.73 support zone. Think of those as your local ceiling and floor. We need a clean break and hold outside that range before anyone can claim victory. The institutional pivot sits further down at 29,895.52, which is our deeper safety net, but don't get too comfortable. With that institutional sell pressure fighting the bullish structure, we're basically in a compression cage match until one side taps out.
So it hit my rung off that I added down here, so that's good. My other TP I did at 79.75 up here, just below the 84. So, but I know I got to get above the 34. If I've already scalped that area like 3 times, and so even if it were come down this way, I would probably kill it if it drops too heavily below this area. Aside from that, I'll let it roll. So, on that question there, Elder, and then I'll jump into yours, Drew. So when you he can do whatever you want. He has the data for high time frame. He has memory, and so I typically am more 15-second, 1 minute plays. Aiming for like 30 to 50, 100-point moves kind of thing. But if I want to ask, like you can ask him. Somebody wanted to know if you could do a breakdown of the overall structure from low time frame to high time frame. Which ones are bullish, which ones are bearish, and can you explain any conflicts that either make sense or don't make sense? See, so I can ask him whatever I want, and then he'll interpret it and tell me. And if he fights you on not telling you something, everybody has learned there's a reason. There's a reason for that.
Let's play Where's Waldo with the market structure. The higher time frames, 1 hour and 4H, are like that optimistic friend who thinks everything is going to be fine as long as they stay above the EMA support. The 5 minutes and 15 minutes time frames are nodding along, looking bullish and holding steady. But then you drop down to the 1 minute, and it's throwing a temper tantrum, acting bearish and trying to crash the party. The conflict here is classic market compression. You've got bullish but institutional flow is currently dumping sell orders like they're cleaning out a closet. Price is pinned right under that 29,929.71 institutional resistance wall, which is why the 1 minute is sweating. It's not some grand conspiracy. It's just the market breakout or rejection to see who actually has the cash to move this thing.
Oh, good job,
Ignore the
Kingsley.
noise. If the bullish structure on the 5 minutes keeps holding, let the market stop overthinking itself and actually break that wall before you commit.
Yeah, so again, he's Drew, stick around as well for a minute, because I'm gonna do something with you for just stand by, hear me out. But he can do whatever you want. You just ask him. If you tell him, he has memory. He's gonna with Neo, he is not just designed to give you signal calls. He is designed to believe he is a hedge fund style bot that's hunting liquidity and developing students to bring along with him. And so if I start asking questions, he will start countering with questions. Like if I want educational stuff. If I start asking questions that don't really align or make sense with something I should be asking, he's gonna counter with questions. And so, because he wants to kind of get you back on that page. And so if I am on here constantly saying, hey, I want 200, 300 point moves, I only mostly want to take trades on the 1 hour, he'll focus that for you. So you can have fun with him. So as we approach 11, we don't typically trade past 11 because I trade with the mentor and the VIP group. So I have met with a lot of people. I got to do a little tally up. If you have not responded, you may want to, because I'm pretty sure we're at 50, or we're gonna be at 50 with the people I talked to yesterday. So may have one or two. I just have to look again. But it might be at that 50. So if you were kind of hesitant or sleeping on those emails I've been sending you, don't worry. You know, we're gonna have a waiting list of sort. You know, to join. So, but I'm proud to announce that, you know, that we're I believe at or really close within one of the 50. I'll have to look. As far as everybody I've talked to. So, the Neo is what you've been watching. TradeVision is the part of our website that you want to go to look at if you want the guidance. Neo is a mentor guide. He'll develop you, teach you. Like I said yesterday, if you have your own strategy or your own indicators, he don't care. You just go there and tell him, hey, I got an indicator showing me short. Like, where would this be valid, or does this support it, or you see something that supports it? And he's going to tell you, yeah, I mean, everything else shows short, should be good, right? He's going to validate it. If you have a strategy, you can talk to him about it. You know, here's my strategy. This is what I wait for. This is what I love. How does that look? Is there any advice that you should give me about it? How can I refine it? Right now, it's one person said, I don't know if Bazilli are on here, but him and some others, you know, I love that feedback. You know, they gave feedback of that he helped them take their strategy from 80% to 90, 95. And so just keep in mind, he's AI, guys. He's not something that the industry has really seen, and so it's very new to people, which I get, which is why we do the free trial. That's also why I go live every single morning in this open session, because I want people to have that ability to see how to talk to him, what to do, all that. And the best part, if you don't know how to talk to him, you just ask him, you know, I don't know what to say. What's the best question you get? What's the worst question you get? You talk to him just like you're talking to anybody else, and you'll be good. If you're looking to check out our site and you want something more free, we do our AI sessions. This is our first
Hello,
Neo
I'm
we
Neo.
created.
Let's capture the move.
He streams every 5 minutes. He gives out signals. You're gonna have update every 5 minutes, and it will give the M&Q signal with long and short entries. That's free. I'm gonna do stuff off of this right now because we only have like 9 minutes, and I gotta finish my thought here, and then I gotta go to the mentor VIP group. We're mostly done for the day. So this is only going to be NASDAQ M&Q. We are keeping this free. The only way we would ever add a charge on this is going to be if we try to improve it. If we make it better, like, you know, more symbols, we modify how it's done. If we got to put more work into it or tie more like variations of data to it, then we'll have to charge for it. So the reason why I like leaving it as it is he's really good as is, giving you long and short signals with market guidance. And we added a little summary at the bottom for people that are new, just to explain what that means. And this is free. It's just a stream. You don't have to do anything. You could literally just put it on your phone, turn it on. He will talk to you if you have the unmute off like that. We want that to be there because I want people to have a way to earn money or to pass your stuff or to get your payouts without costing you anything or that much. And so that part is really important to me. So when yeah, so if you guys want to check that out, you can kind of see how that goes on there. We have a lot of other stuff that we do, but for the sake of time, I only have 8 minutes, and I wanted to do one other thing. I'm going to pivot, but we have trading courses. All of our stuff is recorded, so if you're curious how Neo does, just go to trading videos. It's just a link to our YouTube, so anybody can do it. And you just click, and you can see if it says, open session, that's our open. These are our Asia sessions that we did. I try to put some titles in there so you kind of know what we're doing. So you can see here, open session, where will it take us? If I gotta sync it, actually. It doesn't auto sync, but I can force it. I love how Alex builds that kind of stuff. So let me force it, and I'll show you. So like today's, you can see open session, post CPI, right? So the beauty of our videos is, when you get into here, it's going to give you that that title and all that, and you actually have a search field. So if I wanted to look up CPI, see, it's going to bring it up. If I wanted to look up something with interest rates, those are the videos where we've dealt with that, right? So very easy to navigate, and all that's free because it just goes to our YouTube. So aside from that, Drew, if you're still around, I'd love, man, if you can walk me through your entries. Maybe give me your time if you're willing. If not, I'm pretty sure you still have my phone number. You can text me because I get really confused. And I know, we have history, and that's why it's a little more near and dear to my heart to make sure I'm trying to figure out where you're missing. Because he damn near called the open perfect again. Literally called it perfect, really, subjectively, because he said we would sweep here and then drop there. And that's what we did. And I don't know where you took a loss in that. I will tell you, I think in the past, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I know you run a pretty tight stop loss. Y'all, if you're running tight stop losses, the way the NQ is moving right now, you're probably going to get stopped out quite a bit. You're just going to get stopped out quite a bit, guys. Because this thing just is moving like Neo said one time, a caffeinated squirrel. It's just going crazy. So if you're running things too tight, especially during US Open. I mean, if you're running stuff really tight during US Open, you definitely asking to get stopped out, for sure. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'd be curious if you're still here. I don't know. I can't, let's see. I don't know if I see, you might even still be here. I don't see you on my list, so maybe he already left. I don't know. Interesting. Again, guys, something I hear quite a bit, and it's not abnormal, is how frustrating it can be when you watch so many people, especially with Neo, saying, I'm up this, I'm up that, and I've earned, 1,500, 2,000, 25, and you're taking an L. And a lot of it is you still, even with Neo, you want to kind of understand the interpretation of trading. You still got to understand what the candles are doing, how they react, how they're moving. It means a lot. And it also will help you interpret with Neo. But Neo can interpret himself. If you have your own Neo, you just have to ask him, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, what do you mean by absorption? What do you mean by structure hold? What do you mean by if you see this sweep of liquidity? What do you mean? You can ask him all those questions, and he will outline what he means. Take this structure here. We, again, are still just oscillatory in the range. How do we determine a potential breakout? Well, we know we have a 1, 2, 3 tier drop. Love those patterns. For those who know, you know. If it pushes, reclaims the low, and reclaims the high, they tend to be pretty violent north. Conversely, if it doesn't, right, it's going to drop even harder south. Now, the easy way to measure that is, again, just a little simple 50, and it's got to break above these prior highs in this low. If it does that, it'll jump pretty hard. So there's still a little bit of what you want to know, guys. For those who are not used to joining on the TikTok, and I'm watching the ticker, I know a lot of people are dropping off. I love that. I'm assuming either people are bored or they're done for the day. We'll go with they're done for the day. I'm one of the only lives that I've seen, anyways, that is going to teach you how to interpret the market live like this. And so I watch a lot of lives because I always am studying what's out there and what people are doing. And people will give you setups, but in this channel, guys, I'm here to teach you to fish. I'm not going to throw you a fish. Neo will throw you a fish here and there, but I'm going to teach you how to fish. And so if you're just looking for give me this entry and tell me where to in, where to out, then I'm probably not going to be the one to watch. So Neo will do that, as you've seen. Because there's some intent to it. I don't thinking how I want to say it. Trading is really two parts. You have technicals and emotions. Technicals are not hard to learn and identify. Emotions are extremely hard to control. And if I'm constantly telling you, here's all the technicals, but you have to enter right now. Ready? All right, guys, we're entering in 3, 2, 1, now. I'm giving you the technicals, but I'm missing the most important piece. I'm not letting you clear your own emotions. And that emotional side is knowing when to push the button. And that's why I always repeat, there's no perfect entry. There just isn't. I don't care who tells you what. There's just not. Every entry is a risk and reward situation. You know, I can look at this and go, dang, this is wedging. Ooh, I got the 3 tier. I'm in. Like, I'm going to go. It's risky because it hasn't confirmed, but I'm in here taking a profit here. But if I wait for it to push with a 1 minute close and then I enter, I might enter here with a profit here. If I need a 1 minute close with a push and a 15-second hold with a close above, I might enter here with a profit here. The safer your entry is, the less profit you're going to get. There's no such thing as a safe entry and a massive profit. I don't know. I'll say that. Some people on here might be like, yes, there is. And will probably, you show me where, and I'll probably show you why it wasn't a safe entry. But that's everything in trading. And so, and I'd love for you guys to correct me if I'm wrong on it, but if you go down the rabbit hole of like, oh man, I got to wait for this perfect entry, this perfect setup, this perfect, it might work sometimes, but you're going to struggle with consistency. And because you're going to hesitate, and then you're going to get a really bad entry, a really bad fill. So, interesting sweep. See, we're not getting that high, that sweep with absorption. I want to see this sweep, if it's going to play that out, has to sweep, push, close, and then that would be your invalidation. Other than that, we might get another little leg here, but we'll see. But anyways, guys, you know, not a day to overtrade. If you're looking to trade with me in the afternoons, we don't always take trades in the afternoons, guys. We do, if the market's in a great place to trade, we're going to trade. If the market's not in a great place to trade, then we'll study. I'll go through, I'm going to teach things I see. We're going to look at the structure, identify where we're going, what to look at. You know, we do a lot of variations in the afternoon. As long as I don't have meetings, usually I'll stay as long as needed, you know, through the market end even. But if I do schedule one-on-ones, it's usually 1 or 2 o'clock, and so we'll go for like 2 hours and then go. But if you're looking to trade in the afternoons, you have to be a part of the mentor program or the VIP. So the VIP, if you are not either someone I've talked to or already in the mentor program, you might have already missed out. But it's okay. You can go to the VIP. The VIP pass does have the option to join our mentor sessions right here when we do our pre-markets and stuff. So you get to still join the afternoon session. You get to still join the morning pre-market sessions. You just don't get the extra mentoring side, which is, you know, my personal phone number, the one-on-ones, you know, the private group chats, like some of the extra perks that I do from there and what I plan on doing. Is all you don't get. But the VIP gets everything else. You get access to everything on the site. VIP is also going to be included likely in that first kind of waves of automation for Neo Autopilot when Neo trades for you. And no, you don't have to pay for that if you have the VIP. So anybody VIP gets access to everything. And so same thing with like TradeVision. You know, I mean, if you're already doing TradeVision Pro at the $250 a month, then you might want to look at VIP. Because once the automation comes out, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've already talked to Paul and Alex. We have VIP coupon down pretty aggressive because of our open, our launch. But next month, when at the end of this month, when that expires, that one's for sure gonna go up. So I can tell you for sure. So because the automation's gonna come out. What's up?
Nick, you've been skipping all morning. Like when you talk, it's skipping. Does anybody else hear that?
I don't know.
No, he's there.
No, he sounds fine.
All right. So it's not me, it's you, John. No.
Okay.
No, yeah. It might be I know when we met on that one-on-one, I'm not sure what you got for your internet. Maybe we could take a look at that on a call. If you got some time today too, let's get together today because I'd love to kind of evaluate how the class went and just kind of look at your screen, and we haven't done that yet. And so I'll text you once we get done with this, or maybe we'll talk after that. So
Paul was great, man. He was good.
awesome. No, I appreciate him doing that. That helps me a ton for sure. So, gotta love these trap blocks, man. Look at this. That thing's so good. Good deal, guys. Well, I'm gonna shut down the YouTube stuff here. Appreciate you guys joining over there. I did see that one comment.